Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Indieheads Podcast. I'm your host, Matty, aka @Monrovian on Twitter. On this episode of the pod, I am joined by Rose.
Hello, Matty, I'm gonna let you finish, but Fiona Apple had the best album of all time. Of all time.
We're not at the podcast awards yet. We're talking about the Grammy Awards, not the podcast awards. Okay, well, we'll save those arguments.
I'm talking about the
We're
Grammys here.
okay. Well, okay. Also joining us is AJ.
Howdy. I consider myself a man of peace, but I know I'm going to say and do things tonight that me and all of my future generations will regret reverberating throughout time.
Yes, AJ survived. Actually, well, AJ is actually he still has possession of Dill. He kidnapped him in the principal's office in the Butt Rock #1s. And Dill, are you okay? Are you alive?
I'm here. I'm here.
Blink 3 times if you are threatened or if under duress.
I'm here. AJ got me a grill to stay in the principal's office, so I've just been grilling this whole time.
Oh god! And also joining us is Gavin.
I was tricked. I was told we're doing Butt Rock #2s today. I did not sign off on this.
But yeah, oh boy, we have Statcast here. Of course, we're going to talk about as I hinted at, we're talking about the Grammys, and also as you probably read in the title, this is our Takesgiving episode. So we skipped Take or Treat this year. We were all butt rocked out. We needed a breather, but we realized, hey, let's get some hot takes still. You know, we can create a new holiday, and that is of course Takesgiving, where we'll decide if the take that you have presented to the table is a cold turkey or if it's a well-cooked turkey. We'll figure out the up-vote downvote system. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. But before we get really into things, I am here to announce that we have officially started a Patreon. So for the last couple of years, pretty much, actually, we've been coming up. Our 6th anniversary is coming up like next month. We've done this podcast for free. We have done this podcast basically because for the love of the game, for the fun of it. We have not asked for money. We have not asked for anything. We just do it because, hey, we really like doing it. We like hanging out. We like talking and all this stuff. And that is still the case. At the end of the day, we're going to keep doing this podcast no matter what. Even if the Patreon is wildly successful and we beat Chappie Trap House and and Dave Rubin and Philip DeFranco, even if we beat them on the charts, we're going to do this podcast at the end of the day, you know. But this last year has been our biggest year yet, and it's been the year that I've probably put in the most work towards the Indieheads podcast. And by putting in the most work, it means I finally started editing the episodes so that they are good and they are listenable. And but I think it's obviously, you know, the fact that, oh shit, I actually put in work for this podcast and it resulted in the podcast being more popular. That's crazy. It's so weird that those two things can like correlate together. But overall, it did make us sort of rethink, because for the longest time we resisted wanting to do any kind of Patreon. I think we had planned it at some point last year, but we decided against it. But after this year, after the Butt Rock #1s and all the various series and whatnot we're running and all the ideas that we have, we do think it is time to start a Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/indieheadspodcast, you can send us money, your patronage, whatever the tiers are. I barely am. We're still figuring out Patreon as we go. But for just $1, just one singular dollar, that is our lowest tier, you will get episodes after this one. This is going to be our last sort of like normal episode in terms of it being released, you know, all at once. You'll get episodes up to 24 to 48 hours in advance. You'll get access to our Discord server that we just started. And also you will get a weekly playlist from us just for $1. And then, of course, if you go for $5 and above, you get bonus episodes and a ton of other different prizes and tiers and whatnot. So if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, or if you just joined us this year and you want to keep supporting us on our journey, or really you just want to like be in a Discord server with us and other indie music fans, just music fans in general, consider subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/indieheadspodcast. Once again, we will actually probably have By the time this episode comes out, we'll probably actually have like 2 bonus episodes. Correction, we have 1 bonus episode that will be out by the time this podcast goes up. For the second bonus episode, that'll be coming hopefully either later on this month or at the beginning of December. Okay, but back to the podcast. Already, like for the next week. So hey, for $5 a month, you get 2 bonus episodes and then a bunch of other episodes early, Discord, playlist, etc. Again, it's good deals, folks. All right, these prices, you got to look at these prices, okay? You know, it's a you know, we're not like Tim and Eric. You know, it's not a free house, it's not free real estate, but it's almost free real estate. It might as well be free. But yeah, that
Matty,
is all to say. Yes.
What's gonna be our version of Crooked Media in like 5 years?
Let's see. Crooked Media in 5 years. Well, obviously there'll be there'll probably be some 2024 grift that'll come about. I think we should probably get on the Tulsi grift. I think right now, Tulsi, it was a false start this year, but I think in 2024, I think that Tulsi stock's going to really pay off. And there's a lot of weirdos out there that probably have a lot of money that they're willing to give us. So I think we should put our stock into Tulsi. AOC 2024, it's not going to happen, but Tulsi 2024, it can happen. All right.
How are we going to
Joe Biden croaks?
How are we going to be the Indieheads podcast and not become the Beto podcast the second he picks up shop again?
Well, Gavin, in 2024, you're actually going to leave the Indieheads podcast in 2023 after a personal disagreement during the beginnings of the 2024 Democratic primary.
That's right.
Where you support Beto running again and we support Tulsi Gabbard. So you create the Butt Rock Heads podcast where you are in full support of Beto and get in on that grift.
Look, if this ends with me fronting Guided by Voices, like the skater Mike Vallely somehow finessed his way into being the singer of Black Flag, like I'll do anything. So
I saw
this is true.
I saw that Cloud Nothings tweet today that was like, has anyone actually listened to every Guided by Voices album? And it's like, maybe Gavin is the only person on the planet
I've come
who's done
close.
that.
I've listened to all the
I don't even think
all the
I don't even think all the guys in Guided by Voices have heard those albums.
Just Robert, and that's it.
Yeah.
And Beto.
But anyways, once again, patreon.com/Indieheads Podcast. Once again, we're going to keep doing this podcast no matter what, but if you want some bonus episodes, you want to get in the Discord, you want a playlist, want some fun other stuff, hey, consider subscribing to the Cord, because we also have a couple of goals and stuff. As I know we've talked about starting a newsletter. If we reach, I believe it is 75 a month, we will start a bi-weekly newsletter, and then if we get to 150, a weekly newsletter. So a lot of exciting stuff hopefully coming in the pipeline if you do want to support us. So yeah, but let's get into it. Before we get into Takesgiving, the turkey is still in the oven. It's still in the oven, but while we wait, let's talk about the Grammys, as the 2021 Grammy nominations just came out. And with the Grammys, most years I'm like, I don't care. But this year there's some like really interesting things going on. There's some good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. Actually, it's mostly bad stuff. But hey, this is where we could have some fun. So
I want to kill the bastard Jacob Collier.
We're not there yet.
We'll
get there. We'll get there last. Okay. We'll get there last. So let's talk about some of these categories. So we're going to start off with basically these are the more relevant ones, stuff that probably is more interested towards us and other just weird things. Let's talk about the Best New Artist Grammy, which I usually just thought they just stayed at 5, but there's like 8 people here.
They bumped it up this year, or last year, I mean.
Yeah, which is odd, but okay. But anyways, the Best New Artist nominees, Ingrid Andress, Phoebe Bridgers, Chica, Noah Cyrus, D Smoke, Doja Cat, K-Tranda, and Megan Thee Stallion. I will say off the bat, D Smoke, that's not a real person. Chica is not real. Ingrid Andress, that's probably someone that like your weird aunt knows, but otherwise I have never heard of her.
She's in all the Ingmar Bergman films, if I remember correctly.
May I remind you
God.
all that Doja Cat was in Racial Chat Room
Showing feet.
so
Yeah, that deserves a Grammy alone.
Oh God. Again, there was a tweet about like what are some of your favorite phrases that have popped up on this website, and I think she in Racial Chat Room showing feet is an all timer.
They should do
also
a music tweet at the Grammys.
Yeah, they should. That would be the best category.
They should
I
let
imagine.
AJ host it every single year.
Also, another nominee that just came up today, the white man Bon Iver.
Oh my.
Are people? What are people? I saw that Bon Iver is trending on Twitter right now. What are people mad about? Was I?
Okay,
Someone
okay,
read the Nicki
listen.
Minaj tweet.
There's a like hashtag specially made for him because of fucking folklore or whatever the fuck.
That
Taylor
rules.
Swift's
Album of the year.
And then B, Nicki Minaj was pointing out how ridiculous some of the snubs here are, and she was like, "Yeah, years ago I was up for Best New Artist while having like the biggest selling record of the year, and you know who won? The white man Bon Iver."
So all the stands are in like Justin Vernon's Minchie's roasting his hairline and shit. It's pretty tough for him. But it's pretty funny. Like that's a great tweet.
It's more like I don't fucking know.
Look, as a Bon Iver hater by default, critical support to Nicki Minaj in this. Critical support.
Can't support it.
I
Sure,
can't
AJ,
support
sure.
either party. Both of them kind of suck ass, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
It's very funny. I wonder if let me check Blob his burner account and see if he said anything.
Yeah.
Because
He hasn't
he's not gonna
tweeted
say
in
it
a
on main
long
Twitter.
time. Yeah.
Let's see. November 7th. Okay. I was gonna say he had a hashtag that says new work begins in 5 4 3 2 1. I was like, oh shit, did he become a QAnon guy? Is that the new QAnon
Justin Vernon's like whatever the QAnon people for Joe Biden are gonna be, that are like he's gonna, I don't know, purify the country through some kind of like Delaware magic. That's Justin Vernon.
Delaware magic.
Okay. But anyways, I guess who are we rooting for here? Because I think like the obvious one is probably Phoebe, but like personally, I think I'm gonna go for Megan here.
I'm also with Megan.
Texas.
I think it would be funny. I think it would be funny if Kate Tronado won after, like we were talking about like 4 years ago.
That dude dropped hot mid, and suddenly the academies are like, "Oh shit, this guy's on something."
Well, like when Bon Iver won it, even that was a few years too late. I think Chance the Rapper won it like in 2016, if I remember correctly. Like they are so off the mark in all categories, but then Best New Artist, just by the nature of it being called Best New Artist, is the one that's always incredibly off the mark because it's people that are already super popular that get nominated, and it's just like, I mean, sure.
Unless it's D-Smoke. D-Smoke, oh, he's brand new. He's fresh out of the oven.
I'm a real D-Smoke head.
I look at their process for this, and I think I begin to understand Donald Trump more. It's like, yeah, lots of irregularities, okay? Lots of irregularities. There's no basis here. They wouldn't let my voters look at the polls, okay?
Wait, listen, when they talk about muddy audio production, that's what they're talking about, the swamp.
Noah Cyrus won by a lot, okay? By a lot. I think that's the strength. I mean, Noah Cyrus, again, the thing is that obviously, like, she's Miley's little sister. She's had a ton of false starts as like a pop star. She was like one of the first people to like collab with XXXTentacion, which was like, and also famously dated Lil Xan, who broke up with her because she sent him a Photoshop of Charlie Puth naked, and he was like, no, and then he broke up.
That rocks.
She did the dubbed American version of Ponyo like 10 years ago. So who's to say if she's bad or not?
Oh my fucking god.
Points have been made. But
so real quick, I'm looking at the list of winners for the Grammy Awards for Best New Artist, and it's pretty, nothing like crazy is jumping out to me except for the 1990 winner, which is Milli Vanilli, and it's the only one that has the note rescinded next to it.
Do you know the story?
Wait, do you not know about that at all, AJ?
No.
Whoa,
So
Okay,
Nas and
okay.
Milli Vanilli, they were lip syncing. Like they had
Mhm.
real performers, and then they had the dudes who went up on stage, and they were just completely fucking faking it.
Oh my god, I think that's funny too because they beat Soul to Soul and Nanette Cherry and Indigo Girls that year.
Wow.
God. Oh God. Yeah. Again, Megan Thee Stallion, Megan or Phoebe, that'd be cool. I think again, Phoebe. I'm tired of it. Dill, I love you. Again, I'm excited to read your write up, but at the same time, I'm ready to be done with Phoebe Bridgers. I'm ready for this year to end. Okay.
Phoebe Bridgers
It's-
Funko
it-
Pop.
We've had too much, and I say this as a fan, but we have had too much this year.
I think Phoebe is pretty burned out of Phoebe in her own. So
I mean,
You say that, but she keeps doing stuff. She keeps doing things. Like literally every week it's something new. It's like obviously drop the album and then
foreign
obviously
late
just
night
stuff.
performances,
Bunch of late night
Phoebe Bridgers
performances.
Funko Pop, remake of several of the songs off the album on an EP.
The fucking
best
the
album
Maggie
of the year.
Rogers. The Maggie Rogers thing that just again she got her first Billboard entry.
I'll submit a Takesgiving thing early. Is Phoebe Bridgers pulling a reverse everything now?
What does that even mean?
what does it?
Like
what
a-
does that mean?
AJ just saying
an
words at this
I think
elaborate-
point.
AJ is literally just saying that it's an ambitious and successful album cycle, unlike
It's an
everything
elaborate
now.
rollout cycle. It's just coming out after the album had there will be no peace.
This is like
Okay,
this is like
okay, I
me
get it.
trying to say that fucking the big day is like so. For
The
those of
clean
you who
version of
listened
The
to
Woods.
the Fine record by Justin Timberlake, Man of the Woods, at the very start of the album, he says, "You know this ain't the clean version," and for some reason, I posted in the chat that the big day is the clean version, of Man of the Woods. And that take haunts me to this day.
Okay, let's
I'm
move on.
already
Let's-
losing my mind.
Yeah,
Can
we
let's
haven't
get-
even talked about takes.
let's move our way out of best new artist. Let's go on to best alternative album. The nominees are Fiona Apple, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, Beck, Hyperspace, Phoebe Bridgers, Punisher, Brittany Howard, Jamie, and Tame Impala, The Slow Rush. Fiona.
I really
Yeah.
think Beck's gonna take this one. And he deserves
Congratulations
it.
to Scientology again this year. They really keep pulling one out for Beck.
I think personally, Fiona, there's three ways to look at it. There is the one that's probably going to win, which is, you're correct, it is Beck. There's the one that I really want to win, which is Fiona, and the one that the dark horse that has actually a pretty good chance of winning, just based on
Jamie.
just a gut feeling. Now, I'm actually going to say Phoebe on that one. My gut says Phoebe.
My only hope is that fucking Kevin Parker doesn't win, because if it's Beck, it's just like, oh, this is predictable.
I want
disappointment.
Kevin
But,
Parker. I want Kevin Parker to fly out from Australia to the U.S. to attend the show. I want him
And
to
then
lose. I want him to lose whatever he's probably nominated for multiple things. I want him to lose everything, and then I want him to catch coronavirus at the Grammy Awards and go back
Parody.
home and
Parody.
and then cause an outbreak once again in Australia. And again, everything that I said is a parody. It's not real. If you take it seriously, it's satire, buddy. Okay.
I want to issue a correction. We hope Kevin Parker comes here and gets cooties. We hope he gets cooties. Who cares?
We want those girls. We want them to kiss him.
Give
I'll kiss
Kevin
the
Parker,
guy.
really handsome. He's got such a nice
Beautiful women.
haircut.
Okay, we're losing our mind.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's again.
rock
Any
performer?
other predictions, thoughts besides let's go Fiona?
Beck has never not been nominated for a Grammy.
Listen, I'm really hoping, if we're talking rock albums here, I really hope Steely Dan's 2 Against Nature takes it this year. I think they got a good chance.
I want to go back real quick to the best new artist thing. D Smoke doesn't even have a photo on Wikipedia.
He's not real. What? As I said, he's not real. They have to put at least.
Speaking of, can we please talk best rap album for just 5 seconds? Because
Okay, yeah.
need to
So
ask what the fuck is going on.
I was gonna go to rock. We'll go back to rock album in a second. Rap album. Let me get the list pulled up because I'm going off of
D-Smoke,
two different
Black
things.
Habits, Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, Alfredo, J Electronica, A Written Testimony, Nas, King's Disease, Royce the 5'9", the allegory. What is this list? Is it like this is like some kid who is like, oh, we need real rap, and the Grammys got in here and made this list. And
Like,
then
what-
also threw
Yeah,
D-Smoke
this
on
makes
because we need
it
D-Smoke.
makes no sense to me at all. Like,
what else would have been
I mean,
on here though? Like, what else is
RTJ.
Grammys cool? Yeah, I guess
little,
so.
Oh my
little,
God,
little
RTJ.
Uzi Vert, like,
The Uzi Vert's
Uzi
not
Vert.
going to get nominated for a fucking Grammy.
well, I mean, let's look. Okay, I'm gonna check the nominees for last year because
Okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
Google
it's just so
2020
weird
rap
that this
albums
is
right now,
so
just to
like,
give
at
you,
least
like-
there's always like one or two that's like within the zeitgeist, you know, like there's not even Darkling demos, not even the Drake album that came out within the deadline is here, and he probably would have submitted it.
There
So,
was
like, let me-
another
let me-
Megan Thee Stallion album that was earlier this year. I'm sure her one, like that was very recently, will get nominated next year. But like at the same time, like she had one earlier this year. Fucking,
Mhm.
there's plenty of other people who could have gotten nominated, and they just picked such a bizarre field.
Didn't
like, let me-
EXO
like-
Tour Life get nominated for a Grammy? Or am I
It
completely
probably
did.
misremembering?
It probably did. It probably like best rap performance or best rap song, or whatever. But like, okay, let's look at last year's nominees. Obviously the winner was Tyler the Creator. Igor was again a very, very popular record. I wasn't a fan of it, but that doesn't matter. We're talking about
Not a rap
popular,
album.
popular and acclaimed records. Igor, Dreamville, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, like it's J. Cole's group. Okay, like that makes sense. Meek Mill Championships. Meek Mill, very big rapper, very acclaimed. 21 Savage, I was, very popular, very acclaimed. Corday the Lost Boy, an up and comer who I think is probably already fairly big now. Is probably gonna be bigger in the future. But this, again, as you said, this is just boomer shit. You get like Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist, like by default, that's the one that I want to win. But like, you have a Nas album that like came and went. Royce the 5'9", I didn't even know he was putting out albums still. You have the J Electronica album, which again, he's dropped like 3 memory hole projects this year, which is insanely impressive for someone that like who was very like, that album was so anticipated for so long. It came out, people were like, oh, this is good, and then that's it. People forgot about it a week later.
And then the actual album people cared about originally from him came out, and nobody cared about that either.
Exactly.
I feel like if you told a bunch of the boomers in the Recording Academy that Visions of Bodies Being Burned was by the guy from Hamilton, they just would have nominated it on site without even listening
absolutely.
to it.
Mhm.
Can you imagine a fucking clipping being nominated for a Grammy?
If
I
somehow
mean, I feel like
isn't,
it's gonna
pushing for the
happen
one,
eventually.
Yeah,
if
true,
somehow
they
isn't
are, like,
pushing the one from this year, if they're not pushing that for like 2021 or 2022, like
It's
fucking
too
up.
abrasive to get actual
yeah,
nominations
that's
or
like the
anything like
one
that.
reservation, like, because they're huge, like, nerd shit. That's the thing, is like,
Mhm.
and I say
let's-
this as a
okay.
gigantic nerd, like, that fucking album rules.
God. Yeah. So it's really weird. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go to best rock album. Probably not much to say here. Fontaine's DC, A Hero's Death. Michael Kiwanaka. Grace Potter, Daylight. Sturgill Simpson, Sound and Fury. The Strokes, The New Abnormal. I personally, I'm pushing for A Hero's Death because I'm probably the only person on this podcast that likes that album. But like, anything here won, I wouldn't like. Again, I don't care. I'm not invested. But it's like everything here. There's nothing offensive here. Like,
Yeah, can we look at the last, like, honestly, century of best rock album winners? I have this list pulled up in front of me, and it's truly
God.
Please go ahead.
it's some
Oh,
dire
no.
shit. I'm just gonna go backwards from this year. Cage the Elephant, Social Cues, an album I did not know existed. Greta Van Fleet, From the Fires.
Hell yeah.
This is the single outlier on the entire list. The War on Drugs, A Deeper Understanding. Then it's another Cage the Elephant album. Then it's Muse's Drones.
Oh,
then it's
God.
Beck's Morning Phase. Then it's Led Zeppelin with an album I've never heard of. The Black Keys, Foo Fighters, Muse, Green Day, Coldplay, The Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, U2, Green Day, The Foo Fighters, Bruce Springsteen's The Rising, which is a masterpiece, U2, The Foo Fighters, and then Santana.
Fuck
What?
yeah.
What just happened?
Green Day.
What is this category?
How did Green
Do the
Day not
Grammys
get
know what? Do the Grammys know what rock
Do the
music is?
Green
I just
Days
want to be
know what
honest.
rock
The
is?
Green Days.
AJ.
Green Days.
AJ, Green Day knows what rock is, okay? They gave us 100% uncut rock.
That's right. They should have
Yeah,
been
with
nominated.
no Swedish producers.
No trap
God.
beats.
that's.
I just don't think the Grammys know what rock music is anymore. And why are there like whatever. The Grammys are dumb as shit. But
Speaking of rock-based identity crises, let's look at the best rock song.
Okay.
yeah,
Best rock song: Phoebe Bridgers, Kyoto, Tame Impala, Lost in Yesterday, Big Thief, Not, Fiona Apple, Shamika, Brittany Howard, Stay High. Yeah,
not a single rock
rock
song on that
song.
list. None of those are rock songs. None of those are rock songs.
I think they
Kyoto
combine
is a
rock.
rock song,
I think
best.
for songs they combine rock and alternative. I think that's my guess because I don't think
here's
there's
the
like
thing.
best alternative.
I could argue there are at least 2 rock songs on there, Kyoto and Not is the best rock song of like the past 5 years, so I gotta give it to Not. Like, I love Shamika, but goddamn, Not is like a perfect song.
It would be nice if not one. Did Big Thief win a Grammy like
No.
last year or whatever? No, they were
No,
not.
they got nominated. They got nominated though. I think for
Yeah.
best alternative.
Yeah,
album.
they did 2 albums, and they kind of split the line between 2020 noms and
deadlines.
2021 noms.
Kyoto is my song of the year, so I'd like to see that win. But also, Not was maybe my song of the year last year, so it's kind of the Grammys are fucked. So I don't really care who wins there. But it's probably going to be Tame Impala if we're being honest.
Yeah. Once again, whatever I said,
Podcast,
the
Parker.
parody that I
Cooties.
said, the cooties. I hope he gets cooties and brings it back to Australia and causes a cooties outbreak. Okay. But let's move on a little bit. I think we'll talk two more nominees. I guess we'll go producer of the year, non-classical. Jack Antonoff, Dan Auerbach, Dave Cobb, Flying Lotus.
What a cursed
Andrew
category!
Watt.
This is evil. This is
What
disgusting.
did Flying Lotus do in the past year?
This is
Like,
fucking
I need to
gross.
ask,
I think
what did he do?
it's for Thundercat. I think it's
Yeah.
for Thundercat. That's
Like-
my
like-
best
but-
guess.
But like, that's the only thing he did.
I don't know, but Thundercat has had a pretty.
didn't
Thundercat
he
has
do
had like a
Lama
low key
Grandma?
big 2020.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
agree with that, but like at the same time, like fucking.
Look,
Flying
if
Lotus?
if Flying Lotus wins for checking his emails in 2016 on the Eric Andre show, then I'm in full support of him winning. Otherwise,
just
I
give it
really
to Jack
don't care.
Antonoff. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, but also the fact that again, there's no women on here. At least like everything else, there's women, but like, is this it's obviously like here's the thing. I'm gonna pose a question, but the answer is obviously like, yes, there are women producers out there. I guess the question is why are there not any nominees almost ever for producer of the year for women? Like why, at least in mainstream, or at least in the Grammys committee, like why are women not getting nominated? Because I assume when they're talking about producer, they're talking about like in the traditional sense of producer before sort of hip hop kind of changed what producer is somewhat. Like, is there really no women that could be nominated here? Like, is there nobody? Like and here's the thing.
Ever
part
hear
it's
of a
even-
little
it's like-
album called "The Center Won't Hold"? Maddie?
Jesus.
I would have
Gavin.
liked it. Here's the album. So I have not listened to that album. It probably sucks, but at least I would have liked to see it. I would have been like, oh, that's cool.
No, no, I would not have liked to see it. Any album that has the song "Bad Dance" cannot receive any rewards for that. That is disgusting.
God. But
Any album that from a band that kicks out one of the best drummers of all time deserves to get completely ignored.
Oh god. Yeah, shit. But speaking of disgusting and horrible, let's get to the album of the year. We're gonna just wrap it up. We're just gonna go to album of the year.
Can we
wrap
shout
it up
out real
here.
quick the contemporary Christian album of the year?
Of course.
I liked watching the nominees roll in real time on the Discord today, and Rose was like, haha, what if Kanye gets nominated for Christian
No,
album?
I didn't even
And then-
say like, haha. I was just joking, like, haha. What this category's here? And then some people pointed out to me that Kanye West got nominated. I was like, wait, what?
Oh my god.
We
This shit sucks,
we
bro.
Yeah, the Dean Blunt bonus episode, which will be up probably around the same time this podcast goes up. So hey, look out for that. We did talk about Kanye a little bit, and it's just like, I think we may have talked about on the Black Metal retrospect that just came out, like where Yeezus is like his most honest record, and like basically everything since then has just been like slowly like grit. Like the fact that the guy who made Yeezus has somehow been able to successfully like have a Christian music rift. It blows my mind. The fact that everyone's like, oh, sure. And obviously at the same time, it's like, well, Donald Trump is the fucking president. Of course, these people they have the memory of goldfish. They don't give a shit. But at the same time, it's just like, This man said, "Eating Asian pussy, all I need was sweet and sour sauce," and he's nominated for the Contemporary Christian Grammy. Like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, there is something spiritual.
The
about
most
that.
horny man of the 2010s until The Weeknd really broke through, and he's the
That's
best
why The
album of the
Weeknd
year.
didn't get nominated this year. He wasn't horny enough.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. So let's go album of the year. Album of the year. I'm not going to say song of the year. I mean, we need to move on to Takesgiving, so we'll just focus on album of the year here. Let's see. From Janae Aiko, Chilumbo, Black Pumas Deluxe Edition from Black Pumas, Everyday Life, Coldplay, Jesse Volume 3 or The Jesse Volume 3 from Jacob Collier. AJ, don't.
Jesse.
Not yet. I hear you typing. I hear you typing up your list of threats, but hang on.
So wait, why is this Jesse so special? Why is it The Jesse?
We're not done yet. 1 second. Haim Women in Music
I'm
Part
not
3,
insulting this man. I'm
Dua
just
Lipa,
asking,
Future Nostalgia, Hollywood's Bleeding, Post Malone, Folklore, Taylor Swift. Okay, AJ, go ahead. Why do you hate this man Jacob Collier so much?
I woke up this morning, peacefully unaware of the existence of Jacob Collier, and since the Grammy nominations have come out, I've been unable to think about anything more than how much I hate this wide-eyed, bug-eyed little fucking freak, the Pete Buttigieg of the music industry, who has just like think pieces churned out by the dozens every time he, tweets something about how much he loves listening to Herbie Hancock and how Somewhere Over the Rainbow is the greatest song ever written. I stumbled across an NPR article from 2016, which I guess is his debut album, and the final paragraph in this article made me want to blow my fucking brains out in a video game. It says, but here's actually a quote from Mr. Collier himself. He says, "The world of Stevie Wonder, in particular, the kind of overflowing joy that exists in every single thing I've ever heard Stevie Wonder do, every note he sings, it's so deeply inspiring to me in every way. The bottom line is you need to be authentic. You have to be really honest to yourself. I'd say that I'm really quite a joyful person in general, but I think the idea of joy can be extremely complex and rich and varied." And then the NPR article closes with this just nugget of wisdom. This article, by the way, released on July 11th, 2016, ends this way. Collier's wide-eyed optimism and planetary humanism might seem corny to some, but I'd venture that these are increasingly essential values in the dark times ruled by hashtag Brexit, xenophobia, Orlando mass shootings, and ISIS and Boko Haram insurgency. We all need our own forms of refuge from the omnipresent negativity that threatens to encroach in on and constrain our ability to live freely. Music can sometimes, though not always, be that refuge. In just 11 songs that burst with creative ideas, Jacob Collier has generously opened the door to his room. The album's called In My Room, and made it our sanctuary. Shut the fuck up. I hate this. This is miserable. This sucks. His music sounds so fucking overproduced and disgusting. His Spotify bio, which I screenshotted and shared in the chat earlier, is like, he's released like 4 albums, and it's like, oh, this is a quadruple album that's divided between 4 volumes, each with its own separate musical universe of sound, style, and genre. Shut the fuck up. You're such a piece of shit.
Wait,
I hate
hang on.
this. You're a child.
Here's the best part. The Jesse Volumes 1 and 2 both have earned him a Grammy each, affirming that Jacob has never lost a Grammy in a category he's been nominated in. Literally, you're bragging.
Shut up!
I hate this kid so much.
Oh my god. I did not say anything in the chat. I've not listened to this music at all, but I'm with AJ here. I've not heard a single note of his music, but everything that I've heard, everything described, this little shit kid, all right, this little fucking goddamn Max Keeble ass looking motherfucker is out here. He's like, I'm Quincy Jones and Stevie Wonder because I know music theory. I've tapped into it, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Are you, again, bitch? Can you make
Lily best summarized it earlier as like having all talent but no ideas whatsoever.
He's opened for like Herbie Hancock and Kamasi Washington and like Sun Ra. I think at like for some reason his music is like classified as jazz. For some reason, like some producer found him and was like, "Oh, this kid's a jazz virtuoso," and it just sounds like hyper produced, like Michael Bublé doing what's that acapella group that everybody hates? It's like Michael Bublé pentatonic white boy. It's literally that one Felix tweets that's just like, "Damn, this white boy kind of nice with it." And I guess he's half Asian or whatever, but fuck off. It's like it's that stuff, but it's just like, damn, this little kid is spitting. Except for fucking, I don't know, playing the cello or some shit. Shut up. We don't need any of this. This is nonsense. I reject it completely.
There are at least album of the year has at least 2 just completely fucking nonsense nominations. Like fucking Black Puma's album released in June 2019, which only qualifies because they put a deluxe edition later, and you can tell they did this purely because they had no idea who to nominate that wasn't white.
There's an entire column of the album of the year nominees that I've simply never heard of.
Like fucking the Grammys like could have simply just nominated any artists, and they were just like, shit, we have too many white people. We need to cover it up.
Hey, speaking of artists, there was like an hour ago, The Weeknd tweeted out and just began the conspiracy wars against the Grammys, which I found really enjoyable on my own.
Yeah, we should note that again, as most of you have probably figured out by this point, The Weeknd has 0 nominees for this year's Grammys. Nothing in Song of the Year, Album of the Year. There's nothing, despite having basically the biggest album of 2020. That has not been Memory Hold at all. It's been, again, Blinding Lights is probably one of the biggest hits ever, pretty much at this point. The album has stayed in rotation throughout the year. Whereas other big artists who, Lady Gaga, her album came and went. Ariana Grande, her album is probably about to come and went because we'll see what happens. But
lots of coming and going on that album. If you catch my drift,
AJ,
it's about having sex.
Yeah,
AJ.
But it is one of the few like artists made by a big pop artist that actually has stuck around. The fact that there's no nominations is it's insane. There's definitely like I said, in most cases, if an artist were to make a complaint about that, oh, there's a conspiracy against me, I would be like, shut up, like get over yourself. But in The Weeknd, it's like, no, this is a very valid case. Like, there's something going on here because obviously, I think Zach posted a tweet that The Weeknd made about around when the George Floyd protests were happening and saying basically, hey, like the major labels and the streaming services, they take up most of the money in the industry. They don't give it back to artists, and obviously to black artists. And I think that's kind of where the conspiracy comes. It's like, okay, he spoke out explicitly against the industry, and this is their comeback, and this is to say, like, should you focus here on the Grammys? No, but basically it is just like, okay, how is one of the biggest, most critically acclaimed albums of the year within the pop music sphere not have a single nomination whatsoever? Like, what's up with that?
Blinding Lights is already the single most streamed R&B album of all time, After Hours, and Blinding Lights has close to 2 billion plays on Spotify, which I'm desperately trying to find a song that has anything even close to that right now.
I said it in the pod chat, and I'll say it again for our audience. If One Tricks Point Never is now ride or die for The Weeknd, so am I.
Speaking of, I would like to quote a tweet that he replied to The Weeknd with. This is what he said in response to his tweet about the Grammys remain corrupt. Danny Lopatin says, "Sometimes it feels like we're living in soulless, paper-thin times."
It's solidarity.
Yeah,
that's what I have to
he's right
say.
to say it.
Yeah, he's a little off that Dasha pack, but he's right.
Jesus Christ.
That's so strange.
Anyways,
can we talk about really quick? Can we really quick just talk about Justin Bieber's meltdown over the Grammys or whatever?
Oh yeah, he's had his own low-key meltdown, but it's also just one of the funniest. It's like, I get where he's coming from, and I think it's like, yeah, that is fucked up that like if he submitted his stuff as like an R&B album, then like it should be nominated as that, even though it would not get nominated at all. It's like it's the Grammys, like, we're trying to throw you a bone here, Justin. Like, we're trying to make sure you actually show up here. And he's like, I want to be
made yummy, bitch. Don't complain.
Yeah, it's like, you should be happy that like that. Here's the fact that album. Well, really not really that album per se. The fact that I guess like, yeah, the fact that like that was an album that was destined to be memory hole, but the fact that like he's had some pretty solid hits off that record, like Yummy flop, but there was like one or two that have like that did decently well. He's got 2 singles right now, or at least 1 single for sure that's like doing pretty good. I think it's that song with Chance the Rapper. But yeah, I'll let someone else explain it a bit more with this Justin Bieber stuff.
I love the Justin Bieber song where it's like all about his wife. I forgot what it's called, but it's really, I hear it on the radio sometimes. And I'm just like, this is one of the worst songs I've ever heard. It fucking rules.
Which one? There's a lot.
Let me flip through it. Like,
is it yummy or is it yummy or is it the Christian one?
It's not. It's probably the Christian one. Hold on.
Or is it again something about equity and assets? Is it the one with like Quavo?
Yes, that one. The one with
Intentions.
Quavo. Intentions.
Yeah.
I despise that song with every fiber of my being.
I think we talked about it on the most recent Billboard episode this summer. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, the equity assets line is just like, oh no.
Yeah, I guess before we move on, because we need to get to Takesgiving. What are we going for here? I think like if I have to pick one, probably Haim, Women in Music Part 3. I like that album a lot. It's probably not going to win, but that's my personal fave of the list.
I said that I think just because the Grammys exist solely to like desperately chase clout that doesn't even exist, I think that Dua Lipa's gonna win this year because they're still riding that Billie Eilish wave of being like, hey, we're hip, we're cool, we know what the kids like, and they pick something that like, yes, the kids like technically like, but it's not the thing that everyone's obsessed with like anymore or to that degree. So they'll be like, right, we all like this, and people will be like, I mean, sure. The reaction to Billie Eilish winning, like, it was just like, I mean, I guess, right? Like, it was not as groundbreaking as like the Grammys themselves hyped it up to be. So that's kind of what I imagine happening again here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I think it's probably between Dua and Taylor. I think like it's either these nominees. It's either a layup for Dua or for Taylor. Depends on. We'll kind of see where it's going. I lean more towards Taylor than Dua Lipa, but obviously the dark horse here is Post Malone because we could be entering a Warren versus Bernie situation, and Post Malone is Joe Biden, where you have Taylor and Dua fighting it out because it's like the Grammy committee is like, okay, we should probably have a women win this year, and then so they fight between Dua Lipa and Taylor Swift, but Joe Biden, he's Joe Biden, Post Malone, he's sitting there, he's like, hey, y'all remember circles, right?
This metaphor actually tracks completely because we've already established that Jacob Collier is Pete Buttigieg. I think we could actually just go ahead and finish out this list. Like, Haim is probably the Amy Klobuchar in this situation. I think Coldplay.
What you don't expect is that there's a from behind candidate. I'm talking about Coldplay, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is Coldplay Mike Bloomberg?
Coldplay might be Mike Bloomberg, and then Black Pumas and Janae Aiko are like fucking. I don't know. One of them is John Delaney.
Tom
Yeah.
Oh God. Tulsi. Well, actually, here's the thing. Tulsi's actually. I think the thing no one really talked about the fact that like Tulsi like stayed in the race for a very long time. I think everyone was just trying to ignore it because obviously she didn't make any blip whatsoever. She got like less than 1%.
Oh, Coldplay's Marianne Williamson. I'm sorry, I take all that back.
I can see it. I would probably say more Haim as Marianne Williamson than Coldplay. I think Coldplay is probably like Cory Booker.
So you're saying that Ariel Reichstad is like the orb?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. He is the orb. We must protect him at all cost. But yeah, these nominees, I don't think it's as bad as people are saying because I think there's some like decent albums in here, but like. It is obviously the fact that there's no like you have fucking like Black Pumas here, but not The Weeknd. Like
no dog leg. That's fucked up.
The top line is just all fucked, and that's like 90% of the problems.
Grammy nomination day is one of my favorite days to be like on music Twitter because people always just pick one really strange fight to just not give up on, and it's like, yeah, just like, oh, no dog leg for album of the year. What the fuck are they even listening? It's like, do you know what the Grammys are? At this point,
Yes, and
What
I
the
still
fuck?
stand by the fact that where the fuck is Dogleg?
Where's dog?
Yeah,
leg?
where is Dogleg?
Okay.
Where is
Hang on. Oh, I hear the oven going off.
Oh,
I think the turkey is done. I think our Takesgiving turkey is done. So everyone, let's gather at the table. Let's gather at the table. Let's say
I'm
a little bit
vegetarian.
of
Fuck you.
Me too.
well, okay, we have vegan and vegetarian options. Okay, they're at the table. Okay, you don't have to eat the turkey, but let's all hold hands. Who wants to say grace on this wonderful Takesgiving that we're all a part of?
Blessed may these takes be.
I guess I'll say a little something. So Father, fuck you for these takes. These takes are dog shit. Not even that like, oh, they're bad takes. It's just, again, these are nothing takes. A lot of these are just going to be groan worthy ones. So Father, fuck you. Don't ever come back. I hope you get coronavirus from this gathering that we're at right now. This very real gathering, as we're all in AJ's apartment right now because he won't let Dill go. So we had to go to him.
Stop
So-
stealing my Puddle of Mud CDs, Dad.
Of course, Dill has grill pilled has cooked this Takesgiving turkey for us. So let's dig in.
I
There's
just
a lot
I
of
just want to
different
say something real
parts.
quick.
Yes.
I was walking my dog earlier, and I was just mad about these takes. Not that the takes made me mad. I was mad that nobody stepped up and submitted anything that was juicy. They're all pretty whatever. So I just made some fake.
So it's like a real turkey where it's very dry and
Basically, yeah. Thanksgiving food sucks shit. Whatever. Here's some fake takes I made while I was walking my dog that I don't really believe in, but they're all better than what we're about to talk about. Number one is stop making sense is boring guar. Number two, everyone at the Charlottesville Nazi rally looked like they were in the world is a beautiful place and I'm no longer afraid to die. Vampire Weekend.
Do not insult friend of the show Spirit Knight.
Of course. Well, yes, a former member. That's why they quit. Not Nazi enough. Vampire Weekend are trying to be the Grateful Dead because they don't have the talent to be Fish. Sufjan Stevens makes sad Whisper Boy trash because he lacks the sex appeal of Seth MacFarlane. These are just all things I shit out that like we could talk about for an hour, whereas everyone else just submitted like, I think Radiohead were pretty good 20 years ago, and then they only became good. And it's like, shut up. So let's just.
I haven't looked at any of these takes yet, so I'm curious. Yeah. I could probably come with a few off the dome.
Yeah, they're all bad. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So this before I even get into this first one, does anyone here give a shit about Grizzly Bear in 2020?
No.
Well, let's hear the take. I'm very curious what the take is, though.
Grizzly Bear's Yellow House is a post-rock record from Reddit user Tadevos.
Yellow House. Sure, that album's pretty good. I guess you could call it post-rock if you wanted to.
I just realized that we're this is like our first. This is the episode where we're announcing our Patreon, and this episode is
and then we're gonna shit on everyone.
shitting on our listeners and telling them all that
Good, they
terrible and
deserve
awful
to know
takes.
that they are fucking filth, and they should pay us money to be so grateful to have us insult them.
Yeah.
Oink oink, piggies.
I'm pretty sure I called Fish post rock like 2 months ago, and that's a way better take than this.
You did, and I remember having a very visceral reaction to that. This one, I feel nothing.
Yeah, I feel nothing here.
I am grilling with this take.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a grill.
Grizzly Bear?
There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with gas.
Okay, so what is the system here? Grill for a bad boring take, or what's the other option for like a good hot take?
A grill is simply like I have no opinion about it. You can have the take if you want. You can take it. You can leave it. I don't care because I just want to grill.
I got this. Chill is a take that we all fuck with. It's good. Grill is a take you can take or leave, and if you're mad, that's a will for thrill right there, baby.
Okay, so
All right.
chill is an okay. This is a fun. This is a
is
fun
rock
take.
rotten
A
rule for the
grill is
modern
an in
age.
between, and then a will for thrill is a real stinker.
That's what I'll
It's a
say.
real. It's a burned turkey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this one. Okay, this one actually is an interesting take because I think it brings up an interesting point. One of the few like actually like okay, this one is let's actually really think about this stuff. I'll recycle my take from another DMD. To Pimp a Butterfly made no musical impact on mainstream rap music, despite being one of the consensus picks for best rap album of the decade. From Reddit user probably sure. I would put this as a chill because I as much as I love To Pimp a Butterfly, they're not wrong here.
Yeah,
They're
I think
not
you also even have to consider like what Kendrick's next album was, which was like immediately it was like more mainstream than Good Kid, Mad City even was. Like he went straight for his most commercial pop record, which just sort of shows, I would say, by example, how little kind of influence To Pimp a Butterfly had. So I'll chill with this take. This take vibes.
See, it was a good take, but it's really obvious. Like, oh, fucking course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this
I'm kind of grilled on this.
It's been out there. I do agree. Like this is a take that's obviously been out there since 2016, 2017, really. But it's not wrong. And I do think it's like when we talk about it's like is this the best rap album of the decade? I mean, I put it in my top 3, top 4. I think it is a great record. But also at the same time, I think like as AJ was talking about, Damn is a direct reaction to Pimp a Butterfly sort of being a kind of a flop. I think it's ahead of its time. I think like if it came out, because I think that obviously like the reason why Damn was so big was that the charts were different. They changed the rules. If the rules that there were as they were in 2018 were applied in 2015, I think that record would have been a lot bigger in the mainstream because streaming was not. They weren't like weighing streaming like they were weighing streaming in 2018. So I think that is an interesting point to consider. Like I think it would have been bigger if it came out like even like a year later. I think it would have been a bigger record. But yeah, it is like the fact that like no rappers try to recreate this really like mainstream music wise. It hasn't really had an impact. Like a couple rappers have tried to like put out like ambitious records, but other than that, in terms of like chart success and whatnot, like there's not been a number 1 or even like a top 10 rap song that sounds like something off this record. Like it just sort of was like, oh hey, here's a more artsier take on this sort of like 70s revival, of like soul music and whatnot. Here's like a rap take on it, but that's really about it.
Yeah, this is just the right take. Like, like it's hot because of how much everyone loves To Pimp a Butterfly, but it's just like it's like you can't argue with it. It's right. Like this is a firm chill for me.
It's like a microwave turkey. It's like, okay,
Sure.
like you took the turkey out the oven, you waited a little too long to start digging into it, so you had to put it in the microwave for like a minute or so.
Yeah, I'll agree.
It's kind of easy to forget though when you're hyper online. You're just like, right, To Pimp a Butterfly is like the album that whatever Fantano gave it a 10. Everyone's like, oh, it's pretty much the consensus album of the decade. But then like outside of I don't know like hip hop heads and circles of Twitter, people really don't talk about that album very enthusiastically. They're just like, sure, I guess. Is that the one that had I on it?
Mm-hmm. And obviously this wasn't a reply to us, but there was that one tweet from I guess friend of the show at Big Rack saying that Lil Uzi Vert's album was album of the year, right? Which I have not listened to that album. I have no like if you think it's album of the year, good for you. Do what you want. But like I was like really this album, and then I looked at the track list, and literally, if we're just talking the original version, not the deluxe edition, literally every song on that album, there is no song that's below 3 minutes, but no song above 3 minutes. It's all 3 something songs. It's so weird. I don't know why it weirds me out so much, but it's just like, why like that's a weird coincidence. But anyways, let's move on to the next take. Once again from Reddit. This one I want to stew on this one because I think there's some interesting points being brought up before we get into our end of the year stuff. So I think it's some things to stew upon. Probably a mild take. 2020 has been an incredible year for individual songs and singles, but extremely lackluster as far as records are concerned. There's been a couple of very solid albums, including Fetch the Bolt Cutters, Punisher, Run the Jewels 4. But there's far, far more albums that are basically built around a single or two and end up being let down or without impact for only a few weeks. This doesn't mean that they're bad albums, but how often has anyone actually returned to Imploding the Mirage, Women in Music, New Abnormal, etc.? Years like 2013, 2016, or even last year felt like a new classic record was coming out every few weeks. 2020 is going to be a super memorable year, but not for albums. A big asterisk here in that this is personal reference, read these records, but maybe number 2, that's just the way things are heading because of streaming, and also 3 code effect, and just things getting out of, or just getting things out to make money because people have to eat. I don't think they're wrong here. I think I don't think 2020 is weaker for music. I think 2019, I would disagree with the 2019 take because I think that was a pretty overall kind of weak year. But I won't say is 2020 better? Yes, but is it that much better? It's not really. I think the point here is correct, and I think it is going to be a big problem this decade of how streaming is really affecting our listening habits and how it's sort of impacting our album of the year list. Because I look through my Topsters list because I've been keeping it updated throughout the year, and there's a ton of records where it's oh yeah, this is in my top 20. Shit, when was the last time I listened to this? And it's I go back to listen, I'm oh yeah, that's a top 20 record for sure. I guess so. And then that's it.
The only albums that I would even flirt with calling classics from last year were Black Midi and Norman fucking Rockwell, right?
Yeah, last year.
What else was there?
I will say, I also was in a similar situation where it was there was exactly 2 albums I was really jazzed about: Black Midi again and the First Class Beach album. But that's just my own personal take.
I think the nature of a lot of truncated rollouts has actually made some albums seem a little more impactful this year. I think Fetch the Bolt Cutters, obviously, St. Cloud, obviously. I don't even know what to do with Microphones in 2020 at that point. Is it an album? Is it a song? Does that validate their take? I'm not. Who can say? Whom amongst us?
I kind of disagree because I think the song slate this year has been mostly whatever outside of 10, 15 really good songs I remember.
Yeah, but albums getting announced and then coming out within let's just say less than a month later, the One Who Hit Tricks Point Never and the Taylor Swift is I get time to enjoy these things pretty much rather than just having to deal with them for an entire 6 months before they drop.
Yeah, I think it is a very, very fucking good thing because I'm so tired of these 3-4 month rollouts. You want to look at the kind of shit that irritates me, look at Matador Records this year versus every other label. Matador Records, I love you, I love your albums, but goddamn, you people make a horrible album rollout. It was one.
Why is the Julian Baker rollout? Why is it 4 or 5 months? Why did you announce that so far in advance? It's coming out February. Why are you announcing that?
I get that. I get
Julian.
that
Julian is an artist where you could be oh, it's coming out in a month and just have 1 or 2 singles and that's it. Julian is that big of an artist. You don't. I get doing the sort of truncated rollout for a new artist they're wanting to present and get people to slowly start to adopt. But for an artist like Julian Baker, for an artist like Carsey Headrest, for an artist I guess this coming Snail Mail record, which is going to probably have a super long rollout, you don't need to do this. You just put out 1 or 2 singles, and then the album a month and a half, 2 months later, that's it. These are guaranteed smash artists. You don't need to do this. And if anything, it would have benefited Carsey Headrest to have a smaller rollout because I think
that's what I was going to get to.
Because by the time the album came out, most people were oh, I don't know. It's I think you would have if you just stuck with Can't Cool Me Down and Martin as the singles, and then maybe had Hollywood as a late single, oh, you drop that 3 days before the record comes out.
That rollout was fucking insufferable. Not only did it drag on for 5 months because he had the fucking month-long thing where he was just posting, drawings by Kate Wirtz on Instagram, which cool, I get it, but the fucking posting vague images on your Instagram rollout is so played out by now.
Yeah. Especially
after Grizzly Bear did that for 6 months straight with 200 images and it got a goddamn post on Indieheads every 2 weeks. That kind of shit annoys me so much. I just want hey, I have an album out in a month. Here's a single. Here's another single. That's the kind of album rollout that is ideal to me. And I get that in terms of artist development, that doesn't make sense for some artists, Bartees Strange is an artist who I think had a really fucking good year, and his was kind of drawn out, but like he did that with a lot of material. You know, he had an album and an EP this year, and like he was a new artist, so like there's plenty of justification for that. But like
Exactly.
you are
It's like I think for a new
fucking
artist, I think
act.
that go ahead.
If you're a legacy act, there's no need for the shit. You know, the audience that you have like is already there. They don't need time to get acquainted with you again. Like they know what your shit is like. Like Fiona Apple this year had the ideal album rollout. You know, she gave people 16 days to get ready for her album with like just a simple video announcement that's like the album is coming on this date, and everyone's just like, okay, that's what we need. And it rolled out, and everyone was like, yes, this is great. And we got to spend the rest of the year with it. I spent 6 months getting to think about this album fucking nonstop instead of spending 3 months thinking about what this album could be like.
Like I said, I think like we're saying like basically like usually like surprise albums are mostly like for mainstream artists, with the exception of like a Death Grips or whatever. And we're seeing it happen more with indie artists. Like obviously like Fleet Foxes thankfully was like, hey, here's the album. Like they just dropped the album. They didn't no. And that's a band that could have had a really elongated rollout, but they were just like, up here it is, because like basically you know your teasers, your hints were really just like Robin in the studio throughout the year. No, but in terms of like actual proper promotional rollouts, so it's like, oh hey, the album's coming out in like a day or two. We have a short film with it, probably some other music videos. That's it. You know, Jeff Rosenstock, obviously he's been doing that the last 2 or 3 years, has been since Post, is just, hey, here's the album, you know. And again, if you are a new, like I said, if you are a new artist, I do recommend, like I said, I think the traditional rollout is fine. I think like, hey, to you know, to introduce yourself to the public. I think from someone who did work in publishing, did like some stuff on the Bartees record, it is smart to just be like, hey, like here's how you sort of introduce an artist, and you do that, because Bartees at the time was still a new artist. But again, if you are a big tier indie artist, why do that? Or you know, you don't need to announce so far out in advance. Like at most at this point, here's the thing: I understand announcing so far out in advance if there's like maybe like a delay with like the pressing plan or whatever. But for the most part, it's like obviously you want to avoid leaks, and so you want to get out early, and that maybe is some of the motivation for announcing so early. But here's the thing: like leaks at this point, like they're still a thing, but in terms of like them like really impacting a rollout of an album, especially an indie record, like that doesn't really happen anymore. It's like, because most of these places that where these leaks would have popped up, they don't exist anymore, or these publications, they don't talk about them anymore. Like the only place that does this stuff still is Indieheads, really, and even then it's debatable.
Yeah, the only label who I ever see consistent like months early leaks from are Sub Pop for some reason, and that's just because they have like, you know, month early streams for their albums. So like I totally get it, but like at the same time, just the prominence of them has completely diminished outside of that avenue.
Yeah, exactly. But just to swing back, this is a chill take. I don't think it's incorrect. I think this year is not as strong as 2019, but I do think that like looking at my album of the year list, there's definitely like, I think there's a couple of really great records this year, but in terms of like classics, there's stuff that like obviously like I think Fetch the Bolt Cutters is the most obvious one. I think this is a similar year to like 2015 in a way, where like 2015 for me at least, there is like one definitive like big classic record, which was To Pimp a Butterfly. There wasn't really any competition really that year. You could say, oh, I like this album more, but was it as, in terms of just the reaction, was it as big as TPAB? No. And same case 2020. A lot of really great records came out this year, but ones that had like the reaction that Fetch the Bolt Cutters had, there's not many. So yeah, let's move on to the next. I just want to
say, you got like one paragraph into this 3-paragraph take, and my brain went into Windows XP screensaver mode. Short takes. Let's do some short takes, people.
Okay, let's continue. So Gavin, you had a take. So actually, do you want to read this, because this is copyrighted to your name? So I think, you know, if I said, I don't want to get sued, you know.
Yeah, I just want to start out by saying copyright 490 Freak 2020. Do not steal. This take was innovated by 490 Freak. That's me, Gavin. Idols are punk for people who posted "You Sir Win the Internet for Today" earnestly in 2013. Copyright 490 Freak 2020. Do not steal. This take innovated by 490 Freak. That's me, Gavin.
Gavin, I think you win the internet with this take.
Oh, thank you, Dill.
Only for today, though.
Only for today.
Yeah,
We'll
only
see
for today.
tomorrow.
Didn't
I want a grill.
yeah Gavin.
Yeah.
Are you sure this is I mean, you probably
Wait a minute.
I believe in you that you copyrighted this take, but like I think you might have this. I don't remember someone else saying this. I remember
No,
our
it was
friend
my
Ivan.
take. I just
It was
realized
me.
this is my take.
Oh, it was Rose's take. Oh, am I? Oh, okay. Yeah, Rose, do you want the copyright for this take? I could transfer that to you.
I don't know. My copyright probably won't roll as well off the tongue as copyright 490 Freak.
Okay, then I'll just hold on to it. We can share the take. Yeah, this was made by Rose and me. We made this take. No one else.
I'm gonna.
What are you laughing for, AJ?
It's a good take, is all.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to this one. Okay, we'll come back to this one.
Okay.
Because again, I don't know if you may again this take. I agree with this take. This is not the problem. It's a pretty chill take. But I don't know. I don't know if you said it.
Copyright.
I think
2020.
Okay, if you say so.
Copyright 2020.
If you say so. All right, let's keep it. Let's keep going then. More takes. From Amber Grassi on Twitter. I would rather stare at the sidewalk for 45 minutes than listen to a Pavement album. They're about as boring as rock music gets. I disagree, obviously, but like, I feel like it is. This take is interesting that I don't really think like Pavement has. The only person that I know that like really strongly hates Pavement besides Amber now is like Billy Corgan. But that's more of a personal thing, and not really like Pavement makes bad music. It's more like they said a mean thing to me in a song, and it's like wasn't really that mean, but like it's Billy Corgan. And he's traumatized, so he takes everything seriously. Billy Corgan. I shouts out to Anne Introducing. They did a great episode on Billy Corgan recently. Anyways, to untangle myself out of this, Pavement are a good band. I have not listened to Pavement in a very long time, but they're a good band. But also, I can understand that it's like Seinfeld, it's like it's the Seinfeld of indie rock. It's like, yeah, if you listen to enough bands that are influenced by Pavement going to the original source, it may not hold up as well. But
yeah, this is. I only take issue with. They're about as boring as rock music gets. I did not suffer the last month for Pavement to take this fucking title away from 12 years or whatever that fucking band was that Matty made up.
I did not make up that band. I
Yeah.
did not make up 12 years. I once again.
Yeah, you
10
didn't
years.
make them up. They're real. They're your band. We already established.
I did not make up. I did not. Again, I am not the creative mastermind behind 10 years. I am the creative mastermind behind the Butt Rock #1 series and the Indieheads podcast. But in terms of bands, I haven't. Nope. Nothing.
I'm gonna have to check with the copyright office on this one, but yeah, I'm gonna give this one a grill with an edge towards Will for Thrill, just because the as boring as rock music gets just is not correct. But I also agree that it's kind of like the Seinfeld isn't funny sort of deal with Pavement.
I want to barter here. So I have the copyright for the take from earlier. Do you want to exchange that for your band 10 years? Would you like to do that? I'd really like to own the works of 10 years.
Well, I don't have any copyrights in 10 years, okay? And if I did, I would not give it to you on this podcast, but maybe after we record, we can discuss this further.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Anyways, let's get to the next take.
You mean you plead
Dill,
the 10th?
Dill had more. Dill, did you have something to say about this take?
I was just gonna say that I think in the spirit of Pavement, this must be a grill. Because I can't think of anywhere like if you told like Stephen Malcolmus that is like, hey, your music is shitty, I think his only response would just be okay.
He'd probably say, haha, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, probably.
I think the take itself is pretty clever in its construction of I would rather stare at the sidewalk than listen to the band Pavement, but unfortunately I like the band, so I have to disagree and give this bad boy a grill.
Yeah, yes. I gotta give it a grill just because I'm a recent Pavement convert. Some folks that I dearly love finally tricked me into listening to Pavement enough that I was like, oh, this is good actually, but only Wowie Zowie.
Okay, valid. But yeah, I agree. A solid grill, but not much else. I'm gonna skip this one because it's boomer shit. I don't give a fuck about George Harrison or any Beatles. This next one, I'm not even. I'll say it, but we can quickly move on. Kanye is and always has been a terrible rapper. Yes and no. I know. Like I said, I think like in terms of a technical ability, like yeah, he's not always been the strongest technical rapper, and obviously now he's terrible. But like he could construct a really good flow, construct some, or at least like commission some really great lyrics at one point in time. Actually, for a pretty extended period of time, for like 10 plus years, but only really lost.
I want to layer in another take on top of this take. Since we were celebrating the 10-year anniversary of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy not that long ago, I just want to submit that the best Kanye album of the last 10 years is The Life of Pablo.
No.
Ooh,
Okay,
I respect.
Please, no.
Okay, we're not gonna get into it. We're not gonna get it. Okay, well, we will not. Honestly, yeah, we're not gonna. No more Kanye discourse in 2020. I'm done. We're sick of it. We'll pick it back up in 2021, maybe.
I am forcing the grill on this take.
Yes,
Grill it and move on.
Yes. This next take comes from someone DM'd this take to me on the Nathan For You out of context account, which is I'm going to say it as is. This is how the message was sent to me. That typo was in the message, so I'm just going to say it as is. Anything Neutral Mill Hotel made is better than anything the Beatles have ever made. Again, Beatles, Automatic Grill, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fucking shit about if you think the Beatles are underrated or overrated. I don't give a single solitary fuck at all. Rest in piss, John Lennon, Paul McCartney. He's just chilling. He's doing McCartney 3. He's gonna have temporary secretary
Ringo?
too.
I think Ringo is pretty
Peace
cool.
and love, baby. Peace and love.
No more
and
autographs.
love.
Peace and love.
This gets a maximum chill for me, just because we need critical support for Neutral Milk Hotel, as I recently discovered.
No one said
Mill
anything about
Hotel.
Neutral Milk Hotel. Who said anything about
He
Neutral
said
Milk
Neutral
Hotel?
Mill
bitch?
Hotel.
He said Neutral Mill
Mill.
Hotel.
What is that?
Neutral Mill. Someone.
Listen, I'm giving this. I'm deviating from the system. I'm giving this a peace and love in honor of Ringo.
I'll give it a peace and love as well.
What is Neutral Mill Hotel?
Neutral Mill Hotel?
What is this?
You know,
Someone-
listen. Neutral Mill Hotel is the critically acclaimed band from Blurge Records. In they made that record in 1997 or whatever.
I can't look this up. This is so what? What is going on?
What
What is this bit?
The bit is that they spelled milk wrong. They said mill instead of milk.
Oh, okay.
This is why you have to open the fucking doc again. AJ, I respect it so hard that you are going in blind to these takes, but also open the document so you understand. Open the document. The documents, AJ. The
I need
documents.
the documents. Where are the documents?
Get the unredacted reports,
What's in the
okay?
docs?
Again, fuck the Mueller report. It's all about the Takesgiving report, okay? It's
That's
unredacted,
right.
it's raw,
That's right.
it's unfiltered. Okay?
Dude, I think Playboy Cardi should release an album that's called Neutral Mill Hotel. That would rule.
Wait,
More like
why
Neutral
Playboy
Mill.
Cardi?
I don't know. It just sounds funny.
Okay,
Thank you, AJ.
okay.
All right,
Makes
revise.
points.
I think Viper should release an album called In Da Aeroplane Over Da Sea.
Oh god.
Who's to say he
Okay,
hasn't at this point?
Oh my god. Okay, let's move on to a take from one of our own, from Zach at Waffle113. Garden song is good. You guys are just jerks. I give
He's
it
right to say it.
It's
He's
still probably
right
the worst.
to
It's
say
the
it.
worst song on that album.
it's a will for
It's
thrill.
really
It
bad.
sucks. It sucks. I'm
It's
with
the,
AJ.
it's
a
the
terrible
worst song on that album by far.
It's that I hate that fucking song.
It's
that
it's
was-
like if you took every Phoebe Bridgers song, you put in an algorithm, Garden song is what comes out. I think it's
Well,
Yeah.
I was really psyched for this album beforehand because I really like Stranger in the Alps, but just like hearing that song just immediately deflated all my enthusiasm. Like leading the rollout with that was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, Pooja Patel, I respect what you've been doing with Pitchfork lately, but you're so wrong about this take. You're so wrong. Jeremy is completely, and it's not not just Jeremy being a former guest of the Indieheads Podcast, is he correct? It's like 40% of the reason, but I know the end is the best song on Punisher.
Nah.
And Garden Song is stinky. It's stinky.
How is
It's
Garden
stinky.
Song? How is Garden Song worse than Graceland 2? I don't
Graceland 2
understand. That.
Well,
that's probably my favorite song on the
I
album.
can remember Garden Song being bad, and I don't remember having any reaction to Graceland 2. So I'm just gonna go with the one
I
that
don't
I know is
remember
bad.
90%
believe
of that
this.
album.
I don't. Okay, so I gotta layer this then, because I'm taking a chill with Zach's take, and I'm taking a Wilfer thrill on the rest of y'all. I can't stand for this.
Well, that's
Well,
too bad.
you have.
I can't remember anything. I'm
I'm
literally an
outnumbered
eternal
here. I'm
drone.
well aware that I'm outnumbered.
Well,
BBC
do not
So-
fret. You will get a chance. You will get your chance to, of course, go off about Punisher in the r/Indieheads Album of the Year Write-Up Series 2020, starting on December 1st with a Fetch the Bolt Cutters write-up from Rose, and the next day, Madlow Manifesto from myself. Stay tuned, folks. Anyways,
shout out mental illness.
shout out mental illness real quick. Let's go to the next take. This is an anonymous DM. We will not reveal who made this take, but it is a take that is out there for us to read. Take: rock as a genre would be more relevant had it diverted away from the early 2000s mainstream appeals of Creed, Limp Bizkit, Hinder, etc., which turned into a laughingstock and instead had gone down the slow and steady path to becoming, and again, this is real, to becoming math rock, the endpoint of all music. Math rock is a far more logical endpoint of the rock genre than butt rock. I will not expand on this further.
So what math rock musician DM'd this shit to you? Because this is so detached from reality. Like,
is this the guy from Primus?
Yeah, this is a fantasy world take if I've ever seen one. Like, if it's a troll, good job, but there is no way anyone in America was going to be bumping math rock over fucking Lips of an Angel, the greatest song of all time.
What, you're telling me that if Hold Your Horses was released by a major label, people would still be, people would be bumping that today.
I somehow think that if math rock was on mainstream radio after 9/11 and hillbilly shit was at its peak, it somehow would not have hit the same as fucking Kryptonite or whatever. This is an insane take. This is insane.
Although I will say I did reference how they did actually like try to release basically like a Mars Volta album in like 2007. That's pretty good. But yeah, no, this is I respect the audacity of this take, so I give it a chill. I respect the audacity here, even though it is completely deranged and wrong. But of course, I cannot say I'm not one to speak on derangedness when, of course, I said the words Madlow Manifesto like a minute ago. So
I'm giving this a nerd shit. That is my ranking on this.
This is mega nerd shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like what they would possibly be thinking, like after like post 9/11 would possibly be like overtaking the airwaves. Like no one was listening to like shellac on top 40 radio in like 97.
Just guys in fucking trucker hats, just watching guys tapping on the necks of guitars and shit. Like, come on, that was not happening. Look at Buck Cherry.
Yeah, let's. Okay. We're gonna pretend that you did not just say that band. We're gonna move on to the next take. Before actually we fully move on to the next take. This take comes in a brand fresh take. This is not to us. It's just on my Twitter feed. From America's Ben, aka Ben Mora. Shouts out Ben Mora. Shouts out Singing Derangements. Where is Emily Montez's Grammy? She literally blew all the hyperpop girlies out of the water. This is a side, but
I don't know
like
who
every.
this. What?
Oh boy.
Who?
I'll talk. I'll send you something after the pod deal. But it is much like people posting Money Machine like every month and being like, "What the fuck is this?" Every month, someone posts like the Emily Montez album and goes, "What the fuck is this?" and it goes viral, and it's so funny. But it's like this like 6 or 7 year old girl who like
she's got a song called "Roblox Is My Life."
Roblox is my life. I play all day and night.
Yeah, basically like much like Farrah Abraham's My Teenage Dream Ended, basically like accidentally made like a hyperpop masterpiece, and she's like 6. Like all the songs are like 20 seconds. It's basically like fucking like Daniel Johnson, but like a baby in hyperpop.
This is incredible.
I think Okay, I'm gonna offer a counter take now. I think we need to delete hyperpop now. I think it's run its course.
No.
I don't think this is hyperpop. I think this is whatever
No.
Guided by Voices is. 14 songs, runtime of 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I think this is going to be Gavin's favorite album of all time.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
I can't agree with. I like the Food House album that just came out. It's really, really good. I really like that record. But most hyperpop is, again, I agree that we should delete most hyperpop. But I like the Gex. I like Food House. Basically, the more online you are, the more I like it, and the less online you are, that's where I go. Or if you're like an actual teenager.
I think the spectrum of like being online in like the last 10 years from when like Farrah Abraham like put out that record to now has dramatically shifted, because if you're like online 10 years ago, you're like plugged into like fucking like Vaporwave and Macintosh Plus and shit like that. And even like 5 years ago, if you're like super online, like you probably know like Hey Cutie and AJ Cook. But like the level of hyperpop now that is completely overtaken everything is like I can't keep up with it anymore. They're all the same person. I'm convinced that AJ Cook is just like cloned himself like a billion times over and now just has like multiple aliases where he's all releasing this shit on.
See, that's where I like disagree, because I really don't like PC music, and I think like
I don't either. For the
but
record,
like I will say, I think 100 Gex, like that really is like this that is the peak in terms of my interest, and obviously I think Food House is a peak in itself. Like again, I think that record's really good, but like stuff like Glive, Black Winter Wells, all that shit, I don't have any interest. If you're under the age of like 18, I don't want to listen to any of the hyperpop that you want to make. So that's the first ground rule, and then the second one being like, if you have a dumb name like Black Winter Wells, and also I think you post like really cringe takes on your like main account, then I don't want to listen to you either. But yeah, anyways, next let's
I
go
think
next
it's
take.
just let's go.
Let's get next take. This one comes from Alex, who sadly could not join us for this episode, but did leave this for us. Alex G's Batman is a good and compelling song, and its deeply strange and off-putting aesthetic choices only make it more thrilling to listen to. This one is between a chill and a grill for me, because Batman has grown on me. Because at first it's like, what the fuck is this? And then you're like, what the fuck is this? I like this, but what the fuck is this?
House of Sugar, poopy. So no, this take.
Okay, now that's a certified Wilfer throw there. Get out of here. Get him out of here. It's a great record. It's a great record, AJ. I will not hear. You got that, but although I think the worst Alex G take by far amongst the podcast group is Jackson's insistence that Sports Star is a bad song. That's a real stinker.
This is foolish. That's foolish.
It is the best Alex G song. Okay, well, I like Alex G. I understand why people don't like Alex G, but also if you speak an ill word of Alex G in front of my girlfriend, she and I will literally kill you. Parody. Next take. This one comes from once again from we're going back to Reddit. So we're getting some certified chodes here in terms of the takes. Harry Styles' music is overrated, honestly. His first album was good, but Golden was kind of a letdown.
Bro, who fucking cares? Shut up.
Let's go.
Shut up.
Who cares?
Okay, let me continue.
The biggest grill of the night.
Let me continue, because this last part is the one that I want to I at least want to have some words on. I think Niall Horan has put out better music recently. That I agree
shut
with.
the fuck up.
Who cares?
Okay,
I'm 25
Harry Styles,
years old,
again,
man.
It's again, I agree. Harry Styles is overrated. It's boring. Again, he makes fine pop music, but it's out. It goes in what you go like, oh, this is pleasant, and then you forget about it like a month later. Niall Horan, though, I've heard a couple of Niall Horan songs on the radio. I think they're actually pretty good. I kind of wish there was a bit more about more spoken about him. And also, he has a really dumb album cover where he's like standing on like a chair in like an alleyway, and there's like a storm coming. Also, I think like someone weird is like written for now. I think there's someone who wrote some of like those Niall Horan songs recently that's like weird. I'm gonna look this up. while we go into
Do I
our
make-
next take.
Do I make you Nile horny, baby?
Oh, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
oh god.
Chill,
Let's
baby.
okay. You know what? We're gonna skip this Radiohead one because fuck it. Shut the fuck up.
No more
shut
Radiohead
about
discourse in
No more
2020.
Radiohead discourse. We're done.
Which one is
Uh,
it?
It's the one from WK99. So it's basically just like
Amnesiac sucks. Shut up.
I think Amnesiac is
that
the best
one's
Radiohead
just
album, but we're not gonna get into it.
contrarian- Contrarianism for contrarian's sake.
And
Grill it and be done with it.
we're gonna grill that. We're gonna grill that Radiohead take. Who cares? This one, while I look up this Now Horn thing, lots of bands age poorly, but we shouldn't forget those first 3 Kings of Leon albums. Yes, the third one too, and even that killer opening track of the 4th album before things went really off the rails.
What the fuck are you talking
This
about?
is a clever prank because Kings of Leon only ever made one album,
This
right?
is just people trying to extend Butt Rock number ones into more episodes, and I'm seeing through this shit. No, we're not. We're
Wait,
done with
so
Kings
wait.
of Leon. We're done with them.
Hold on a minute. The album with Sex on Fire, Use Somebody, and Notion was their 4th album.
What the fuck are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
talking
why?
about with this? No, get out of here.
Okay, hang on. To circle back to Now Horn, I just remembered again the why I was like thinking about like a weird person writing one of his songs. Y'all remember Tobias Gesso Jr.?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's written a couple songs with Now Horn.
strange.
Yeah.
Good
He's,
good
again,
for him.
Shouts out to friend of the show, Hannah Jocelyn. They put out a pretty good piece in their Substack talking about Tobias Gesso Jr. and what he's been up to. It's been seeing again. He had a very buzzed album, and then basically just he's been working behind the scenes for the last couple years. So yeah,
That album was good.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's get to the next take though. Since we're on the topic of butt rock, let's keep talking butt rock. Linkin Park's first 2 records are better than anything Deftones have ever put out. From A Field of Tulips on Reddit.
No.
I'm gonna chill with this one. I think. Let's go.
Yeah, I again we discussed on the Butter Number Ones extensively about sort of this like kind of revivalism of Linkin, or at least critical reevaluation of Linkin Park. We're not fully at the peak yet, I would say. I think it's basically like where we're at now is basically as all we're gonna get in terms of like people being like, wow, Linkin Park is actually good. This is the closest we're gonna get. But also I've not listened to a Deftones album in full, so I cannot say anything. But Be Quiet and Drive Far Away is one of the best songs ever made, and it's better than any Linkin Park song, and I like a lot of Linkin Park songs. So this is a chill take. I don't care.
Yeah.
Speaking of I don't care, let's talk about shoegaze. From Center to Wave, the shoegaze
Shoegazi.
revival.
Shugazi.
Shut up. Let me say the take. The shoegaze revival has proved that the Britpoppers were right, and that the genre would eventually degrade into emotionless sonic porridge. Now, as a Britpop hater, I really do not like Britpop at all. I think it's a terrible musical movement. I think most of it sucks, even the quote unquote good stuff. This is a completely correct take though, because I think shoegaze, a lot of it's boring to me, and there is a reason why almost every shoegaze band out there right now sucks, because it should not have lasted past like Loveless. Like that's like, okay, Loveless, crowning achievement, that's it for shoegaze. Nothing else after that.
A little known fact in the music industry is that a new shoegaze album is released every single day and has been for the past 20 years. People aren't paying close attention. It's true. It happens every day.
I like the black gaze movement. I like what they're doing with that, because I think that's the natural progression of the genre into more of the metal atmospheric tone with it. But in terms of like the Ride ripoffs or the Slow Dive ripoffs, which kind of don't even exist anymore. I mean, everyone's kind of just going with the Loveless template to it, I think. Yeah, I could care less about it. Like I saw everyone talking about like the new Nothing album that came out like a month ago, and like I could not even be bothered with it.
Yeah. Next take. Oh boy. Thankfully Alex is not on this podcast, or Jake. Well, I think actually I think we still have enough people to get mad at this one. From Super Flumina, Phil Elverum has not made great music in like a decade. This is a Will.
Get
This is a
it, get
this
it
is
out,
certified.
get it out of
This
here.
is
Wrong
certified
for
Will for Thrill.
Thrill. Yeah, this is disgusting.
This is almost someone who was like, these takes suck. Let me throw in one that I know is going to get him riled up. Like, yeah, this is wrong. Like, this is just a wrong take.
Yeah, there's no. I couldn't even understand why someone would make this take. Like, there's just no. Again, we're getting like, I don't want to get like that mad at it because it's like it is.
I'm
trying to stir me
grilling
up.
with it. I'm grilling with it because I know what the intention behind it was, and I refuse
You
to play
refuse
the
to
game.
give it to him? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, this person made a Beatles take like right afterwards. So like, yeah, no, fuck off.
Boomer shit.
So these we have a next couple of takes, from Paula Abdul Jabbar on Indieheads. The first one, short and sweet. Ben Gibbard has never made good music. AJ, your thoughts?
Brutally incorrect.
I love this take. This is a correct
Foul
take.
take.
I'm with Gavin on this one because I just don't listen to Death Cab or Postal Service, so it's like I appreciate it out there. I appreciate it being out there.
I'm Ben Gibbard neutral, but I gotta defend my girlfriend's honor by saying that Ben Gibbard makes good music.
Let's let Ben Gibbard take some L's in 2020. Let's let him. Let's get the
Ben Gibbard has
L
taken
train.
plenty of L's in his life.
Yeah, let's get some more in
About
his
to
vicinity.
About to say, like, he took like a big one, obviously, with the whole Postal Service thing, thinking your fucking PSA to go vote. Although it did lead to a funny Tim Robinson bit, so I mean, it balances out.
Mhm.
But the second take from Paul Abdul Jabbar, post punk has still never topped all that 70s shit like PIL's Metal Box and the Slits cut. Like, that genre has never and will never be that good again. Post punk now is so non-confrontational and sterile. I like Promoter because Joe is a great lyricist and their arrangements are pretty cool. But other than that, I don't know what post punk even is anymore. It used to be about moving punk to an even weirder place and incorporating shit like dub, funk, and jazz into it because all the cross-pollination between listeners in those genres. Now it's just, I don't know, punk with sax with some lads getting a pint and shouting about the government. Shit kind of sucks. I feel like making post-punk on purpose now misses the point of post-punk completely. I agree with this take in certain
The take
aspects.
is too long.
It's too, well, for one, it's too long. You could just say that, like, hey, like, post-punk is, in terms of it just hasn't been as good in the 70s because it's post-punk now is missing the point, and also it all sounds like a slodge and it's boring. Like, I like some post-punk. I have a weakness for it, but I don't disagree with this take. I think obviously I think there's a lot of really great modern post-punk, but I do think, like, yeah, in terms of the the fact that you can pick out a post-punk band, you listen to like 20 or 30 seconds of a song and go, oh, that's a post-punk band. That's not really a good thing, which is why I think like stuff in like the current British music scene is a lot more exciting in terms of like what post-punk could be, because like people do kind of consider bands like Black Midi, Black Country New Road, Squid, like all these bands, they are kind of considered like to be post-punk bands, but they're not fully defined by that label, which is the thing that makes them pretty exciting, is because like, hey, they're all doing really wildly different things within the guitar music genre, and also they're good and not boring because they're little gremlins and we love them, folks. We love the little gremlins. We love them. But yeah, this is a grill. This is an overall grill, although there is points to be made, but it's too long.
Yeah. The length makes me go grill, but the text makes me say chill. We got to put post punk behind the shed, folks. It's time to put it down. It's time to put post punk down.
I think Idols took care of that for us this year. They did it themselves.
Copyright 2020, boy. Gavin. Do not steal.
Okay, then the last two takes from Paul Abdul Jabbar. I hate that Steely Dan is a meme now. Shut the fuck up. Who cares?
Yeah.
People
uncles believe that. It's
Who
not a
gives
hot
a
take.
shit? Let the kids enjoy the Dan, okay?
Yeah,
they're never gonna do it without the fez on.
No negative vibes related to anything when it comes to Steely Dan. Just entirely chill constantly.
Yeah, who cares? People let people enjoy Dan how they want to enjoy the Dan. And then this one, this to me is a certified like Will for Thrill, because it's like, yeah, of course, this is the joke that everyone makes, even if it's right, it's the joke. Emo bands made of all men who sing about their ex-girlfriends must be stopped at all costs and are a detriment to society. Yeah, we all know this, okay? Like, we know this, okay? Yeah,
Sure,
of course we all
but
want to do this.
that could be Dogleg and Dogleg whips, so I must disagree with the take.
True. Okay.
I go on like fucking TikTok and I see what kids think is emo music these days, and it's just like, oh, Hobo Johnson and the Front Bottoms, and I'm like, I mean, this is why nobody likes emo music.
As we discussed in the Butt Rock number ones, the emo kids lost the culture war.
We did.
My Chemical Romance is emo, whether you like it or not. Shut the fuck up about Midwest emo and anything like that. Let people.
Yeah, you lost. Stop it.
You lost.
Yeah. Go
Is
be
there
loser.
like a Schrodinger's like emo band fallacy where it's like if you put like an emo band in a room and lock the door, they are and are not simultaneously Dogleg?
I like put this in the pod chat a while ago, but I had the like really just chilling realization the other day that I'm going to become like an old head for like people who are really obsessed with the first American football album before they reunited. Like that's going to be me in like 10 to 15 years about, you know, the Hoteliers output, like So Goodness and The Home Is Like No Place. Just like I'm going to be obsessed with those albums still in 2035 or whatever, and just yelling at teenagers on the internet who are excited about God knows what, just being like, oh, well, you weren't back there, you know, when Goodness came out, you know, you don't know what real emo is. And I'm okay with that. That's my future and I've accepted it.
Yes. But let's move on to our next take here. We got 2 or 3 takes from Bates Norman. The first take being the Kathleen Hanna with Bear Calls line on the Eyes album was funny as shit to the point where I kind of like it now.
You, sir,
Good
win
for-
the internet for today.
You, sir, won the internet. For
I'm
today,
tipping
Bates Norman.
my fedora and
Tipping-
giving you all my epic
milady.
points, sir.
Yes. Next one. Memphis rap and black metal are functionally the same genre. I give this a chill. I appreciate where it comes from.
This one rocks.
Yeah, this is
Maybe
just a good take. This is
Yeah,
great.
maybe my biggest chill of the night.
I
This
love
take
reading
rules.
this.
Memphis rap is fucking cool. Fucking obviously like 3 days or I was about to say 3 days
This
grace
ma-
instead
oh
of
my
3-6
God.
mafia. Jesus
Delete,
Christ.
delete.
Oh,
Pain.
wait, oh, hang on. I'm not. Let me.
Oh, there
That's
we go.
how I'm feeling right now, baby. And like Tommy Wright the Third and shit. Like, yeah, no, Memphis rap rules, and yeah, I'm fully with this take. And then this one, someone who's seen like a lot of the Avengers movies, I have no fucking idea what this means. Microphones in 2020 is like if Iron Man said "No shit, Sherlock" to Doctor Strange in the last Avengers movie. Still a good album though.
So, like, what they're saying is, like, so you know how fucking Blamble Dick Fumble Bumble or whatever his
The
name
Grinch?
is? Like,
Yeah,
he
the
also
Grinch.
played Sherlock in the show Sherlock, but I still don't get how that joke relates to this take.
So I think that the joke or the take is that like that would have been like a meta joke in the movie, and they're saying that like, oh, the microphones in 2020 is too meta for its own good. Like he name drops the Glow Part 2 or whatever on it, to which I say that's why the album is good. So silence yourself, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a will for thrill just because we had to fucking decipher it like the fucking Da Vinci Code. But like, I just don't care about what it says. Like,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm not saying this next take.
this
It's too
take
fucking long.
is the most angering one. If you're gonna post music theory shit, you better be fucking Trey Anastasio. I don't know what.
I'm giving this the biggest will for thrill I possibly can.
This is
Like,
the wedgie
get
of the
this
night.
shit out
You
of
get a
here.
wedgie for even sending this shit to us. We love you.
I
but
believe
no.
No, we don't love you because you were giving a shit in the tournament thread. Too.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Then we
You
just
guys are-
fuck off with this. Go back to
you guys are
college. or
You guys are
whatever.
mistaken. You guys are mistaken. This isn't a take. Somebody just accidentally copy and pasted the title of the next 1975 album in here.
or Jacob Collier wrote this.
Yeah, for real.
Nope. Pretending that man doesn't exist.
Should
Okay.
we say the take now?
No, it's like.
No, we're not.
Hey, how about this? How about we all read it at the exact same time? Because
Okay,
you're gonna
okay.
get the same effect.
Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. All right. Okay. Everyone have it pulled up. Are we ready?
I'm
Yeah.
looking at it. Are we starting after the colon or before the colon?
Let's
we're
start
doing
whole
before the
thing.
poll.
Whole thing.
Oh,
Whole
okay.
thing.
God, that sucks.
Okay. Okay. Are we okay? 3, 2,
Two,
1.
Okay.
Here is a bizarre take. Equal temperament should become archaic and modern pop music. It really only exists because it allows us to play various analog instruments, especially the piano, in different keys. Considering that most pop music isn't really about instrumental workshop, and modern pop music production literally alters everything anyway, it's really pointless, and yet pretty much everything is still played in equal temperament by default. My stance here is that particularly strange, since I personally can't really hear the difference between equal temperament and just temperament. It's based purely on logic and common sense. So we take the basis of the music during our time and I'm talking about wrong because that's a fucking nerd.
Shut the fuck up. That's all I can say.
Okay, next take. The Smiths self-titled shits all over Queen is Dead, and also saying some more evil shits all over Daydream Nation. This is boomer shit. I don't give a fucking shit.
Yeah, never heard of those first two albums. I don't know what you're talking about. Who wrote them?
I don't care. Rage Against the Machine from Das Wef 2. Rage Against the Machine has only about one album's worth of worthwhile aggregate material, and everything else they made is just beating the same basic formula into the ground. Far too much of their music crosses into the line of sloganeering, and it hurts the end product. Tom Morello's Dr. Dre meets Jimmy Page / Timmy. Who the fuck? I don't even know his last name. Emo. Oh, thank you. Concept is interesting on the surface, but after Evil Empire, he never really innovated much past the point, even through his time with Audio Slave. Sure. This is a grill.
What if it was Dr. Evil Empire and they were talking shit about Dr. Evil?
You just feed them to the laser sharks.
That's right.
Sharks are
What
freaking laser beams on their head.
Hours.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so like this next take coming after this one is pretty boomer, but like I do want to go over it because I have some words.
Rose, you didn't even have to say. I knew that. I mean, I was going to say that for you, Rose. I knew you would have an opinion on this. From Punk Girl on Reddit once again. Monster is of the same quality as Automatic for the People, and it's undeservedly pigeonholed as just a used CD rack staple. Every time I go looking through the rack of used CDs, they've got copies of nearly every REM album, but Monster is the only one that gets the permanent association with it.
Okay.
Rose, you have a minute to speak.
Okay, so Monster, here's the thing they don't show you is that every store, they'll have, the UCD rack, but then they'll have the places that, like, they just store other albums, like, that they don't want to put on there because they don't want to show the extreme excess stock. Monster will have, like, 20 copies per store. And yes, you're right that it is a good album, like, fucking Automatic for the People. I wouldn't put it at the same level as that. I'd probably put it, like, a B-tier REM record, but, like, still, like, fucking the reason it got such a reputation is because it came after the most REM album that REM could make, and they just made this bizarre grunge tribute, and so of course they're gonna get shit for it.
Yeah, sure. I'm with you, Rose. Are you talking REM Re-Me?
Yes, we are. We are most certainly talking.
Is this an episode of Are You Talking REM Re-Me?
Yeah. Can we do an episode of I Love Films? I want to talk about movies. I want to do some movie takes.
I would like to do an A24 podcast, but it's the Nathan Fielder Alexa Dimmy one where Alexa Dimmy asked Nathan to enter a fairy portal. I want to do that. Yeah, I've never listened to an REM album because I was born in 1997. Rose might have been born in were you 98 or 99, Rose?
98. However, I had a really bad phase, like almost immediately after I came out, where I was just like, I want really sad music. And then I put on fucking Automatic for the People and ruined my life.
See, Rose, you were legally born in 1998, but like emotionally and physically, you were born in like 1980. So,
Yeah, when people see my taste, it's like 50% like normal and current music, and then like 50% the like most heinous dad shit possible. And it's just like, what happened here? What is this amalgam of a person?
Rose, I'm just gonna say I cannot wait for you to enter your Grateful Dead phase. It's gonna be very, very fun.
It already happened. You're like fucking 5 years late.
Oh, I'm off. Oh shit.
Rose DM'd me right before this pod started, and she said, "I'm gonna listen to some Fish."
I'm going to listen to a Fish bootleg because I am curious.
Mm-hmm. Okay, since I say Grateful Dead fans, they're the most diverse group of music fans I can think of in terms of just like their own musical taste and like their political opinions, because like my dad is like a right wing, like he's simultaneously like a Republican, but also he's like kind of a strong union guy because he works in like construction and stuff. Also, I heard my dad like he got home and got in the shower and he was playing Chris Isaac's Wicked Game while in the shower.
My dad
And
also loves that song, and it cracks me the fuck up.
It's a great song, but it's just so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay,
I already had my dead phase many years ago because my dad is like an absurdly huge deadhead. I have a neighbor who is a fish head, and he blasts them on his fucking porch
Hell
speakers
yeah.
every night.
That's what it's about.
Okay, we've got
It's like you don't understand. I'm like several waves deep. Like I'm on my Steely Dan phase.
oh boy. He's gonna keep going, like, you know, in the Sandlot where like they explain like one of the characters, like he got really into the 70s and he just kind of disappeared. In my head, I always thought that like, oh, he like time traveled and just stayed in the 70s for the rest of his life. I didn't realize it was a drug reference and not like I just assumed in my 10-year-old brain like, oh shit, he like time traveled to stay in the 70s. It's like, no, he just got like really into drugs. Like he just disappeared. Anyways,
maybe.
next take. Let's see. The next big wave of underground music will be directly inspired by bands like Machine Girl, Death Grips, and The Garden, and we'll start to see a lot more breakbeat/D&B influence. All of this, straight white men will no longer be the face of the next generation alternative music as the audience becomes more diverse. The first part of the take, like we're already there. I mean, we're already, like, if that was to happen, it would have already happened.
Like this take feels like we're there to me.
Have you been to like any like college town within the last 10 years? Because like that's already what exists.
Yeah, like basically like this sort of recent wave of like hyperpop, like spawned by like 100 gecs, like that's that wave. Like that's the wave that we're seeing right now.
If you
go to like any like liberal arts campus, you will find people wearing shirts of like all of these groups within like a half-mile vicinity of one another.
Exactly. So
I feel like this is kind of low-key the best take of the night, but yes, you're all pointing out that it's basically already happening.
Although the second part of the take saying like a lot of this straight women will no longer be the face of the next generation of alternative music, that's where I disagree. It depends on what we're talking about when we talk about alternative music. If we're talking like alternative music and just general like like the non-radio definition, we'll have to see. We're already seeing like some of these big, like obviously like 100 gecs, like you know, one of the faces of 100 gecs is a trans woman, and even just the hyperpop space, it's like there's a lot of non-binary and trans people to see. But if we're talking like alternative, like as in like radio alternative, as like the shit we're gonna be talking about like car commercials #1s, absolutely fucking not. Like Jesus fucking Christ, absolutely not.
I mean,
but even if we're talking about just in like the general like alternative sense of like indie music, like even then it's like yeah, we're gonna see more women, we'll see more trans women and whatnot, and or just trans people in general, but like straight women are still gonna take up a huge chunk of that of the base. And really obviously we're gonna see like, you know, black people are still not gonna be, you know, they're not gonna be as major players as they should be.
See, this is just a defining alternative thing, because I think if you ask 90% of people on Earth who the top alternative artist is right now, they'd probably just say Billie Eilish.
Yep, exactly.
Like it's just that alternative is just it means nothing. So, but this take this is just a take where it's like it feels like calling it like we're 15% of the way into this wave, and like you're calling it as the future, you know? Like it's just I think we're there, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ignore this post-punk take because it's like we already went over it basically. Although again, the one thing is saying an example of a band making uninspired rubbish is Protomartyr. I'm like, I don't like Protomartyr. I don't like them that much, but I won't say it's uninspired rubbish. It's just not for me. But the one this one I just want an opportunity to shit on JPEG Mafia because I fucking hate him now. JPEG Mafia is one of the most unbearable artists currently making music, apart from a few exceptions. Just say songs. His lyricism is immature and basically pretentious Family Guy style pop culture reference humor. Anytime he tries to make a more chill song, I can think of hundreds of artists who would sound better over the beat. I am in full agreement with this take, with my only exception being, I mean, some of the songs, like again, I think, like I said, I think Veteran's a good album, but like any goodwill that he picked up, I think he's lost it by being just like a fucking ass. What was that?
Hey, Lois.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't like the Family Guy slander in this take. Yeah, I think you
really
would.
Peter Griffin here with a shout out for Alex from the other half. Sorry that you had to miss your Puddle of Mud concert because
The
of
take
COVID.
the
but
take
hey,
doesn't
when
necessarily
everything opens
imply
up
that
again,
Family
you
Guy
come
is
to Cold
bad.
Hog
It's
and we
just
can
saying
Peter
that
Peter
he's
speaking.
ripping off.
Peter
in
speaking.
the
AJ,
meantime,
Peter
here's some
speaking.
better music. A bird's a word, well, a bird, and a bird is a word.
Okay, now you can continue.
The take the take itself does not necessarily imply that Family Guy is bad. They're just saying that JPEG Mafia's pretentious Family Guy style is bad. I think, and if anything, they're saying that Family Guy is good.
I think you're reading something that's not there. I
Yeah.
think this is the Family Guy diss. And I think for that, it's going to be... I don't give a shit about JPEG Mafia in 2020. I think that this is just a will for thrill for me just because Family Guy deserves better. I bought a hot new shirt. It's pretty good. Maybe I'll post it.
I mean, again, JPEG Mafia, again, I might believe in... I don't believe in marriage, but I might do, though. I mean, that's a bar, but other than that, I don't care about JPEG Mafia anymore. I don't really care for him anymore. Also, the whole Indieheads thing of like subtweeting at us because he didn't understand what an AMA was. That was a funny thing. But also, again, fuck again, this stinks.
Hanging out with Darby Allin.
Okay, well you're
Ooh.
saying that's a cool thing about JPEG Mafia. That's a cool thing about him.
Yeah, JPEG Mafia was on
he's a
wrestling.
wrestler. He's you know the I Like Turtles kid, Rose? What if he grew up and became like a
No.
wrestler? Well, it was also like really okay. Anyways, wrestling stuff automatically is like everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Did that actually happen? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
that JPEG Mafia was on AEW television with a wrestler named Darby Allin. Yes, there's a thing that happened.
Oh, I
He was on
thought
TNT.
you meant like the Turtles.
No,
I
he
don't
just
know.
looks
So-
exactly like him.
He just looks exactly
Okay.
like him. Let's see. We got 3 more takes left. This one is the Breeders' Pod is the best Pixies album from
Sure.
Wayne. Talk. Sure.
All right, if you say so.
Sure.
And then we have our final 2 takes come from friend of the show,
Barely
Barely March. This one is specifically directed at me, so I will speak on it very quickly. Madlow, as a whole cohesive project, sucks. A directionless mess with more misses than hits. And this is only a hot take if you are a member of the Indieheads podcast. You could just say me, Barry. You could just say me. I'm the only one. No one else is on
Get
the
his
grid
ass.
except for me.
Get
I
his
like it.
ass.
I like it.
Okay, me. Well, you're not like writing a 9-page manifesto like I have. AJ.
I would not lay my life on the line for the album.
Exactly. So I disagree with this take. I think it is a great record. Again, like I said, I think you gotta revisit it. You gotta come with a as neutral of a take, neutral as a face as you can with this album at this point. I think like it's gonna, again, obviously I love the record. I think we'll see the critical reception and the fan reception change as the years go on, either because Will Tweed will either make worse music or like people will be like, oh, this actually album wasn't really that bad. One or the other. But
do you mind if I go off?
go off, Rose.
Okay, I'm very sorry in advance, but going into this year, I was like really an obnoxious car seat headrest stan. Like Twin Fantasy and original and remake are some of my favorites of the last decade. Teens in Denial also pretty solid, although I've kind of cooled down on that one a lot more. Going into this album, I was like, okay, this is probably going to be pretty good because I'm one of those people who likes to hear when artists do new stuff during bootlegs. So I was just like, ooh, these new songs are pretty sick because they did Weightlifters and Can't Cool Me Down, which are, of course, 2 of the best songs on the record, which is quite unfortunate. And so they were doing those live, and those kind of got a lot of video footage of it because a lot of people were on those tours with Naked Giants. And so, I assumed going into that, they're going to have a much bigger kind of rock band sound, either that or they're going to kind of fuse electronic stuff in, which I thought would be a natural success because How to Leave Town is also pretty heavily electronic based and slaps still. Like, that has some of his best songs. And so then the first single comes out and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good, but everyone's like yelling about stupid shit like He's using default synth pads. Like, that's not the shit to complain about. Like, find valid stuff to yell about. And then just slowly, I just start to feel this dread sink over me, seeing Will Toledo doing more dumbass shit. Like, hey guys, here's my persona. Like, it's just bizarre, and like, it's only enhanced by this Matador Records 4-month runtime bullshit that we have to deal with. It's just like increasingly like just a feeling of like there's something wrong here. And then the album comes out and there's 4 different editions of it, and they all have different track lists, and 2 out of 3 of them are really heinously bad. And the third one is like just barely holding together as an album. It's just like increasingly worse and worse feeling, and I just sit there for a month. I probably listened to that, like, hang on, I'm gonna pull up my last FM stats, because it's really embarrassing how many times I listened to this album trying to like figure out how I felt. Like, Jesus Christ. Fucking yeah.
The album it's good. It's good, Barry.
Whatever you say, Matty.
Don't worry. I will be wrapped up in a moment here, just because I need to expose myself, because I already embarrassed myself enough on this podcast. It's even today, just talking about my deep and unashamed love for dad rock. Yeah, okay. I have 184 Scrabbles on this fucking album that I don't even like.
I'm curious to see how many Scrabbles I have now on Mavlo, but I'm gonna as I search. Let's go into the last take. While we close the door,
I want to interject here. We forgot to put a take.
ahead.
Matty, you forgot to put a take on this list. It's one that a friend of the pod, Ivan, has been trying to get through to you through many group chats that you plan on leaving every time this message is sent. But Ivan chimed in and said, Blink-182 or Indie.
Oh, shit!
That's the whole take.
I don't really care.
I'm gonna parody Ivan.
Ivan's correct. I want to expand upon this take, and not only are Blink-182 indie, Blink-182 are the greatest band to ever have existed, and damn it is the greatest pop song to have ever been released in America. And put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Antarctica Vespucci cover of it, but I don't really care about the original song that much. I listened to it, and it's just like,
You listen to Madlow 180 times.
No, I didn't listen to the album 180 times. I listened to the songs like 180 times. And yes, I admit that's deeply stupid.
182 times?
However, you know what? Fuck it. I've said much more embarrassing things on this podcast, so I don't care anymore. I'm no longer fazed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My Ivan, I love you, buddy. Stop. In this, okay, like I support the Blink-182 comp. I bought it on Bandcamp Friday, but just leave me alone, please. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Again, you're a ghost of butt rock past. Please leave me alone. But last take. But speaking of butt rock, once again, from Barely March, the Butt Rock #1's take on Velvet Revolver's cock rock anthem Slither was not only objectively incorrect, but also incredibly regressive, especially from a pro Dudes Rock podcast. This is a solid Wilfer throw, but not because of our traditional definition of Wilfer throw. Wilfer throw, that Wilfer throw fucking loves Slither.
That's right.
But otherwise, Barely March, look, we all have our hot takes. We all have our disagreements. Of course, I think Shine Down Second Chance is the worst song on the list. That is my hot take. I've stuck by it. Gavin's hot take. Honestly, there's so many you need to count. What do you think your hottest take was? Because I've not forgotten the Butt Rock #1s, but like I'm trying to forget the Butt Rock #1s. I don't want to conjure up memories too much.
People got most mad about was probably the Hinder cultural reevaluation that we attempted. So I guess Hinder being good, like that's not unique to me. Like that's a thing that's happening, and you
convinced me and Rose. You convinced me and Rose that it's a good song. So
yeah.
I mean, you got
all it took was a Christian puppet parody of the fucking song.
Hey, don't say that. AJ's having flashbacks.
Yeah, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Does that exist?
Watch our stream.
Maybe.
It's archived.
I'd love to see that if it was out there.
I mean, well,
yeah, it's.
are you sure you want to say that, AJ? Are you sure it's not going to conjure up some memories, some erotic fantasies that you may have had?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you guys are referencing. It's strange.
AJ, okay, listen. One day you will be in the midst of a staple. It's all I'm gonna tell you.
That sounds pleasant.
Three of us on this call were in that episode where we talked about Slither, and 2 people did not realize that Slash was in that band just because they were focused so hard on how bad of a song Slither was. And, I'm sorry to Barely March. I love you. I can't wait for your next album, but Slither is bad. You might just have to bite the bullet on this one. I don't think you're convincing
I was more distracted by the fact that the video was in a sewer. Like, why were they hanging out in a sewer?
That's just where it belongs, Like, it's inarguable. This is a will for thrill.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, you say, like, why are they in a sewer? It's really just, like, the subtext becoming text. It's like, here is, like, cock rock / butt rock. It's this dirty, grimy thing. So let's just literally have the video in a sewer because, again, I know people who use subtext, and they're all cowards. Like, we're out here. Our cocks, well, not really the cocks. The bananas they have in their tight pants that they call cocks are out, okay?
Butt rock is the Garth Marenghi's dark place of genres.
Oh God. Okay. Well, that is the final take of Takesgiving. I don't really want to go over what we thought was the best and worst take. I would like to just forget this happened. Just like a really bad argument with your uncle about politics. I would just like to forget that it happened. Okay. Overall, some real stinkers here. I do not want to hear anything about Beatles or Radiohead. So when we do have Takesgiving once again next year, or Take or Treat next year, depending on which one we feel like doing, again, I'm gonna set some ground rules. No Radiohead, no Beatles. Don't talk about either of those bands. And if we have any other rules, we will weigh those out as they come.
Exclusively Dogleg takes. That's the only band you're allowed to talk about.
Exactly. And if you want to hear some more about Dogleg, consider subscribing to our Patreon, because very soon we'll have a bonus episode talking about Dogleg and a couple of other 2020 albums, as we pit some songs up against one another from some of our favorite albums of the year before we get into our year-end awards and lists proper. So yeah, so that'll do it for this podcast. Once again, patreon.com/Indieheads Podcast. For just $1, you get into the Discord server, episodes early, playlist, bunch of good, cool, fun stuff. So consider subscribing. I know there's so many Patreons and so many podcasts out there, but hey, I think we should be top priority because our podcast is older. We have seniority rule over a lot of these other podcasts. Right. So you should consider that. Okay, you should consider supporting your podcast senior citizens like us. Okay, they forgot about us, and it's time to remember the fallen once again. And of course, by the fallen, I mean the Universal Soldiers in the Three Doors Down video.
That's that right.
We watched in the Boat Rock stream.
Citizen soldiers.
Never forget.
Never forget. So, yep, that'll do it for us for this week. We will see you all probably in the next couple of weeks, as probably our next episode is going to be the podcast awards. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you all next time, and bye-bye.
I love you. Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat. So good. That clapping's messing my head up, man. I appreciate it, but I was trying to think of the next line. I'm like, all I hear is clapping. Here we go. Thanks anyways. Turkey for me. Turkey for you. Let's eat the turkey in my big brown shoe. Love to eat the turkey at the table. I once saw a movie with Betty Grable. Eat that turkey all night long. 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Turkey. turkey lurkey do and turkey lurkey dap. I eat that turkey, then I take a nap.